People love The Bachelor. It's awful. It's everything.
What miracles of science and engineering it took to recover this gold.
Everything. Dance it out. Get there.
I can bob my head this way, but I can bob it this way.
Welcome to All Gold Everything, a podcast for people who took their own SATs.
I took my own SATs.
Me too. I took my own too. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Heidi B.
I'm Sandy H.
And I got to tell you,
I'm Sandy.
I was thinking about this story was breaking, right? All day. I was home today. CNN was on, and all day people have been talking about the academic scandal that's been breaking today.
Love this shit.
And so I was thinking about having taken...
I like it when rich white women go down.
Ooh, girl, I was thinking a lot about...
I love it when privilege crashes. Don't tell me that they're all bailed out yet.
They are. They're all out. They've already been in and out. There's jail overcrowding. They don't have room for those white ladies. So my question is, this had me thinking a lot about actually taking the SAT. So do you remember when you took yours?
Okay, truth number one. I actually didn't take the SATs.
What? You took the ACT.
No, I didn't take any college entrance exams because I was a non-traditional student.
How did you have to have a score like that when you came back? When you returned to school later?
No.
I did not know that.
I went to Oregon State University.
They were just like, come on in.
I mean, it was no University of Texas. Let's just say that.
No USC. I have to say, I'm a little surprised that I did not realize the stature of USC. Like, I thought that USC was just like a place where people went to go lay in the sun and drink beer. Like,
no, they are a highly selective private school. So it's still like, I think that a few years ago, their acceptance rate for undergrad was like probably somewhere between 12 to 15%.
Oh, okay.
But UT was one of the schools involved in this, and their acceptance rate, I had to Google it.
Yeah.
38%.
Whoa.
Like, if you can't get into UT,
just try something else.
Try
something else.
Start a podcast.
Yeah.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Don't start a podcast. The market is saturated. I was going to say, well, I remember I took the ACT and the SAT, and one of the things that happened to me, I was like a very average student. I think I like to think that I was above average, but honestly, I was about as average as it gets. And so I took the SAT, and there was a geometry, there's a math section in it. In geometry, there was a geometry part of the math section. Okay, so there was like this little mnemonic that our geometry teacher had given us to remember like it was called SOHCAHTOA. To remember that. Right? Opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent. And so I got real excited because I was like, oh, I got a mnemonic for this. But then I was like, I'm going to write it down. But I misspelled SOHCAHTOA, and I missed every single geometry question. So
but you still did okay.
I mean, I blamed my relatively mediocre SAT score on my spelling error, which I guess is... It's what you get. If you can't spell SOHCAHTOA, you don't get to ace the SATs.
It clearly made you who you are, and it allowed you to walk your own path, and now you have a story.
That's true.
It's worth telling.
I do. I want to give... we're going to get into the academic scandal. It's a couple stories down, though, because we have some really exciting stuff that's been going on in the last couple of days.
Okay, because I have shit to say about it.
I know. Don't forget it. Just put it... this will go quick. I promise. We'll get through
Becky,
this stuff.
I'm going to get back to you. Okay.
Sandy is coming for you, Aunt Becky, so don't fuck around. So I wanted to first just acknowledge and give a huge shout out. We had our first live television appearance yesterday. It was amazing.
Oh my God, you guys.
The amazing people at K2 Afternoon Live had us on the show, and it was like the world was just like, here you go. It was like really an experience of like the universe conspires with you.
It was just like I have no word. I still have no words for this experience. I was so nervous going in. I didn't think that, I thought it would be fighting an uphill battle, me on TV. Like, to me, it's like, I'm going in to fight an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And it was just like we were carried.
Yeah, it was amazing. There were a lot of nerves for me as well beforehand. And then we got there, and it was just, the people there were so nice. We got to meet Christina with a K from the radio. I can't remember what station she's on.
107.5.
I love her. I feel like she's such
Jammin'.
I have to say, even though I can't remember what station she's on, her radio handle is like such a nostalgic thing for me, because I have lived on and off in Portland for 10 years, and I feel like for a little longer than 10 years, and I feel like I always remember Christina with a K. She's been on the radio for a long time. So she was there. She was there to dish about The Bachelor, actually. It was awesome. She took some pictures with us. And then also there was a guy who had written a bunch of hiking guides, and then did a food and wine guide or food and drink guide for Portland. And then there was another person that was just sitting in the corner.
Just another person.
She was just in her phone doing her thing. She had her clogs on and her wool socks and her little gray sweater. And
her very special Louis Vuitton bag.
I know. I was thinking about that because I was like,
that's like a limited edition Louis Vuitton bag.
I know. I'm like, I keep a pretty good eye on what is in rotation at Louis Vuitton. And I have never in my entire life seen a giant, one of the like travel Louis Vuitton bags that has cats hand painted on it. It was special edition Louis Vuitton. It was amazing. Anyway, I hope this amazing person who
she was high-low. Which is like my favorite way to style.
Favorite way to be.
Is high-low.
It's so awesome.
I mean, that's why I need a love bracelet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can be high-low.
I'm 1,000% on board with you. I completely agree. And I hope she's listening this week because she said she was going to listen. So if you're listening, hi, Alyssa. How are you? We're so happy that you're listening and we were delighted to make your acquaintance. So we said hello to this other person on the couch who happens to be Alyssa Mastro Monaco, who was like, just casually there. She was there to promote her book. So here's the thing. That's the title of the book. And it just so happens that she was Obama's chief of staff for 8 years. And they are very close. And it was an incredible experience chatting with her. Yeah?
Well, I don't know if all your facts were exactly correct,
right.
but I don't know how to correct them.
Okay.
But I don't know that she was the deputy chief of staff, and I don't know that it was all 8 years. I think that there was somebody who preceded her and who followed her.
Okay, so for a chunk of time.
Yeah, and I might be totally making this up because
it's good to have your perception of it as well. Youngest chief of staff. I do remember her saying that. She did say that she was the youngest chief of staff in the history of the position or whatever, which was awesome. And I will just add a little side note, no one should use our program as a news source, as a source of reliable news.
The only one I'm worried about hearing us get it wrong is Alyssa. Because you are my new best friend, or you are our new best friend, whether you know it, like it, or not.
Yeah.
We're pretty much obsessed with you.
I know. So I'm actually going to put this out there right now. I'm planning on getting in touch with her this week because she offered to come on the show. So we're going to see if we can have her call in. I got to talk to Mark after the show about having her call us to do an interview or to have her on the show.
Okay, I'll try not to scare her away.
No, do
with my full fangirling.
You know what? We got to be our full selves here. This show is about authenticity. So
I had goosebumps.
It was amazing. It was totally incredible.
All the things and overwhelmed. I still can't find the words. And she is somebody who represents a piece of history. Yeah. That is so special and so fucking wonderful.
And she was tremendously gracious.
Oh my gosh, so down to earth.
She was so down to earth and super, at the very least, very, if she was not actually interested in what we were doing, she feigned interest very well.
Very well.
Yeah. So if her book tour doesn't work out and she was not interested in us, then she should go into acting because she was fabulous. She was so nice and just really curious about what we were doing and very complimentary, and it was so great to meet her. So
and funny
and
she's
hilarious.
Funny.
Yes, she was very, very funny. So her book is called So Here's the Thing. That's her second book. She was in Portland last night doing a book tour stop. It was
Can't
great.
wait to read it. I'm sure it's a real funny read.
It's really good. Or it does sound like it'd be funny. So because we were on that show, I just wanted to also say that we got a tremendous amount of outpouring from some of our OG super fans.
Did we? Tell me all about it.
So a bunch of the people that have been listening to our show for a long time sent me text messages yesterday to say, hey, they saw the segment and hey, they love the show, and it was just so great. So we want to let our OG super fans know, number one, we love you. You're the best. Absolutely the best. Number two, we're going back for more, or we're going back for more, or we're going back for more. We have booked a second segment with K2 on Afternoon Live on April 10th. So we will be doing another live show with them then. And the April 10th is another big day for us because we have another appearance. We're basically turning into socialites.
Yes. We're socialites.
Yeah, we're socialites. On April 10th, we will also be making an appearance at Design Week Portland at Sarah D'Onofrio's show. So that's just kind of getting everyone up to speed with what's going on with us and how great everything is over here at All Gold Pod. One of the things I realized is it's been a minute since we told our listeners where they could listen to us and how they could help us out. Will you give them the rundown of that, Sandy?
Well, here's what I know.
Yeah.
I know that you can find us on the gram at all.gold.pod. We're also now on the Twitter at all_gold_pod. So sorry that they're too... My apologies. That's just how it is.
People can get it.
It's not a big deal. You can sub a dot for an underscore.
I agree.
You took your SATs by yourself. You can do this. And we are listen to our podcast. The podcast is my favorite thing, the audio version. The YouTube's a little rough for me, but we do have we've got good graphics, and you'll get
Great
the
graphics.
whole experience on YouTube. So go to YouTube and type in the search bar, All Gold Everything Podcast.
And you'll find it.
But if you're old school like me and you really just want the audio because you're in your car or you're getting work done, you can find us everywhere. Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And after you've listened to us and you're so satisfied and delighted with what you've heard, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, which is so easy. You don't even have to log in or anything. You just say, you click on write a review and you do it. So don't forget to subscribe, rate and review. Those are the big
5
things.
stars. I looked at it. I was listening to a podcast today, and I won't say the name because I wanted to listen to it because it's like a pop culture dishing type of podcast. And I went down to the reviews, and there's just a ton of 1-star reviews, and it's a good podcast.
Oh my God.
So don't do that to us. That
No.
would not be cool. So
5 stars only.
we need the 5 stars. We need the review. And here's what: if you subscribe, then you automatically download our podcast every week. And what's dope about that is even if the Twitter, the the whole interweb sphere is shut down, you still have our podcast on your device and you can still listen.
Yep.
What else is dope about that is it makes our numbers look good because the downloads are where it's at, and we need your downloads because here's what.
We're like download sharks. Nom, nom,
Well,
nom,
because
nom, 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 nom.
I had a moment today.
Yeah, tell
And
me
what
about
I
it.
realized is I need to quit my job. So I need your help.
I mean, I was going to say, do we need to set some kind of challenge? Like, you know how like those kids on Facebook are like, if this page gets 1,000 likes, my teacher will give all of us A's. I mean, do you think that's...
after being on TV and having this glorious...
It was amazing.
Just universally designed moment. And then to go into work and deal with some real hard shit today, I'm like, So, you guys, you can help me. And by helping me, you'll help Heidi.
Sandy. Please help Sandy.
And you'll help Heidi because she'll get a little bit more help with the podcast. And you'll help Mark because he'll get a little bit more help with the podcast. Just fucking hit subscribe.
Subscribe, rate, review.
That's all you have to do to help me quit my job.
Make it your new mantra. Make it your new mantra. Subscribe, rate, review. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of all of our housekeeping stuff out of the way. The big story that's breaking today that we want to talk about, that we got a lot of shit to say about, is this admission scandal.
Dang, homie.
OMG. So the two most high-profile names that we've heard so far in this scandal, which is that, well, first of all, the scandal is that rich people are paying coaches to, what are they doing? They're
doing all kinds of shit.
Doing all kinds of stuff to get their kids into school.
All kinds of fucked up tactics.
Yeah, one of the things is that they're like misrepresenting their kids as athletes, and the most photoshopping their kids' faces into like crew team photos. God. I know. I saw that. And I'm like, God, could there be a more like rich white person sport to like? Of course, it was crew.
Of course, it's
also
crew.
Maybe it's because nobody cares about crew. So like, oh, this is the easiest one to fly under the radar with.
What is crew?
Crew is when you is rowing boats.
Why don't they call it rowing?
I I guess you row, but you're on crew. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm not rich enough to know. I don't have enough zeros in my bank account. I do not understand.
Maybe it's just easier to Photoshop a face on somebody sitting in a rowboat than it is to somebody like jumping a hurdle or among other players on a basketball court.
I guess you're right. Yeah, because they're all sitting down and they all sit down in a line.
Yeah.
You know,
so you could actually do like all your kids on one boat and maybe save yourself some money.
Of kids. So that's one of the ways that they're manipulating the admissions process. What else? There were other parents that got special designations that got bogus. I saw this on CNN today, that got bogus diagnoses for their kids around developmental disabilities or learning disabilities, and so they got extended time to complete admission process stuff, which meant they got to revise their essays.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm all about diversity and inclusion, but when I was in pharmacy school, God damn it, was there not always a student who was like, I have ADD, so I have ADD and therefore need Adderall.
Yeah.
It's a performance enhancer. But then also I need to take my test in a separate room and get extra time.
Yeah.
That shit pissed me off.
Well, the woman that was on CNN was saying that there are people who actually legitimately have these disabilities, and now it makes everyone even more skeptical of the people who have legitimate need for that.
I was skeptical back in 2004.
In the first place.
Okay,
Girlfriend's been skeptical for a decade already.
And you know who you are. I'm talking to you.
Yes, I like it. Mm. So there are a number of ways. And then there are also parents who are like just straight up paying or gifting universities. Now,
that's the old-fashioned way. I mean, like, that's why I'm like, well, why am I so shocked and so disturbed and so angry to hear this? Because we've known all along, right? We know about legacy students that if you know your uncle,
if you're a Carey or a Bush or
graduated from that school, that you're getting in no matter who you are. And we also know that people, if you give a big donation or put your name on a building, you're getting, like, we've known this. So why is this so shocking?
I feel a little cheated about this because I do have a great aunt that died and left a shitload of money to Marquette University and got a building named after her, the Helen Way Klingler building. But I didn't get no invitation from Marquette to come to school there.
Oh, well, that's not how you do it. That's because you're not privileged enough to even know how you do it.
I didn't even know that was a thing, you know? I was like, damn.
Because you have to have your great aunt call the school and be like, oh, hey, remember, I'm the founder.
I'm 103. And, you know, So anyway, one of the families there are a couple families that are at the center of this shitstorm, basically. One of them is actress Lori Loughlin, who played Aunt Becky on Full House. Everyone knows that we are coming for Aunt Becky. She's married to the guy who founded the fashion label Massimo. I have a picture.
Do we call that fashion?
Well, okay, so I have a picture of them. I have a picture of the whole family, and Mark's going to put it up on the screen for anyone that is watching on YouTube. And I got to say, first of all, this guy, I'm tanning right now because it feels good and I like the way I look. But this guy, Massimo, is so fucking tan. And also, don't get it twisted. He's not Italian. This guy is from Southern California, born and raised, no accent, beach bum. His image is that he's a beach bum turned fashion designer, but actually comes from like a pretty upper middle class family in Southern California. And so anyway, he married Aunt Becky. They have these two kids. Olivia is, I think, the blonde in this picture, and then her other sister, who's completely forgettable. Now, Olivia has
I think that it was her, though. It might have been Felicity Huffman, who also has two daughters. One of the daughters was involved in the scam, and the other daughter was like, no, I want to do it myself.
Oh,
Step
interesting.
Off, Mom. I think that might have been Felicity Huffman's set of daughters. But anyway,
well,
so I just want to kind of stick up for the kind of forgettable one, just in case it was her.
These two girls also both went to the same school. They both went to USC. So basically, Aunt Becky and Mr. Massimo paid USC $500,000 for each kid to go to USC. $1 million total. I can just, first of all, ethics aside, I can think of so many better things to do for your kids with $1 million fucking dollars.
Well, especially if they're not smart enough to get into USC.
Go to USC.
Which, you know, if you're a rich Hollywood couple, I don't even, like, you can in your privilege to get them in the old fashioned way. You buy the tutors. I mean, because like when my daughter was was in this time of her life,
applying for college,
some of her friends had these really expensive coaches, basically, who basically wrote their essays for them, who helped them fill out all their applications, sent them to their really expensive SAT classes, and did all the things to give them the advantage that the disadvantaged kids don't have already. So the privileged already have a system for getting into school,
and that's legal. You can legally hire a coach. You can legally take SAT
your
classes.
Privilege legally.
Yeah, I agree.
And they could probably get into USC and then use your name, right? Because USC is in LA. Yeah. These are Hollywood stars. You're like, Hollywood, you're in. Like they would have fucking gotten in.
Yeah.
And then old girl that was just on the screen.
Aunt Becky?
Oh no, her daughter.
That was us
her daughter.
Yeah. Olivia.
She's a YouTube star.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
And apparently she doesn't really like to go to school anyway.
No, she made a couple of videos where she was like, I'm really just here for the game days and the parties. Yeah, she's not really interested in going to school anyway. I just kind of feel like they must be wishing that she would have just kept her mouth shut. I mean, I think part of this is like there's so much evidence now of like just the privilege and like the waste and like the disgustingness
I went
of it
to
all.
high school down in LA.
Okay.
All the white girls went to USC. All the white girls went to USC.
Yeah.
They fit right in. Like nobody would have known, just like, shut
up, stop talking. But that's the thing about rich kids. They can't stop talking.
No.
I know. Even, I mean.
So, yeah. I mean, is this the proper time to interject? Like this is, I see two fundamental things that's wrong with our culture right now. One is the YouTube star who's clearly like out of touch with, I don't know, maybe it's a previous generation she's out of touch with. Maybe this is her generation and this is the mentality of like our culture as we move forward. But she's entirely entitled.
Yeah.
She has no work ethic.
Yeah.
And she's completely narcissistic.
Yeah, totally.
So it's all about, she already has fillers.
Right. Yeah, you can tell.
And then we have these two parents who are clearly narcissistic because they care so much about their kids going to USC. Like, why
Does this reflect on you?
why do you care so much about what school your kids get into? It is their path.
Yeah.
Let them walk their path. And the
Right.
funny thing was, I saw these two, they played a clip of them on a like Good Day LA a couple years ago. And Aunt Becky was talking about why it's so important that she goes to college, and every other sentence started with "I want." This is Aunt Becky. This
Aunt
is
Becky
Mom.
Wants. Aunt Becky wants.
I want-
what Aunt Becky wants. Aunt Becky gets.
Yeah, I don't know that Uncle Jesse would have put up with these shenanigans. I have to say. So it's like this full authority of a parent to impose their will onto their really adult children, and I think that it's like so that begs the question. So this is a whole parenting thing.
Yeah.
Where I just think it's complete narcissism, and I experienced it very much with some of my daughter's friends.
Well, I mean, I think it really speaks to the helicopter parenting of millennials that makes millennials which is why we make fun of millennials, because they can't do anything by themselves because their parents are just always hovering, because the parents of millennials think that everything the millennial does reflects on them and has to be what they want. Right.
And whatever that image is that they have in their head of who their kid is and who their kid is going to be, which completely takes away any agency of the kid, and it leaves them completely unable to achieve anything on their own.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because when we were chatting with our new best friend Alyssa about this yesterday, she said one of the things that gave her kind of the push to do what she wanted to do is that her parents were like, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
There really was no projection of ego from parents onto her, right? And I think that's super important. It's going to be interesting to see how generationally what this looks like.
Yeah.
You know?
It's frightening.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
The only family that I did any research on for this story was the Massimo Aunt Becky family. Do you have additional is there anything else that you want to talk about on this admissions scandal topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could talk about this for days.
Good. Tell me more.
Well, I think that my rant, because this goes back, this isn't new for me.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with this. I guess I want to put a plug in for one thing, and this is a soapbox I've been standing on since I have become a parent.
Yeah.
And that is because I am a product of Los Angeles Unified School District. I have two parents, and they're divorced parents. I felt frequently like I was raised by a single mom. I was raised by a single working mom, even though I did have a dad, and he does have 50% custody. I was with him half the time. But we didn't have the privilege of going to private schools. That was completely off the table.
Yeah.
I remember my mom fighting really hard to get me into a magnet school because she believed that it would provide me a better education, but it was still within the Los Angeles Unified School District. I only stayed there about a year, maybe 2 years. I can't remember. It was elementary school. So came up through the system. I walked my own path, and I ended up I'm a pretty successful professional.
Yeah, I would say you're wildly successful. I think you're being too
so
modest.
I'm always proud to say that I'm a product of the Los Angeles Unified School District. Now, having said that, I had a daughter, and I was not in a position when I had her to be able to afford $20-30 grand a year for these private schools, which is now kind of like the new norm. Even in Portland, it's so quick to say if you have money and privilege. Just parents here, white parents, are so quick to say, Portland Public School sucks. I have to send my kid to a private school for them to get an education. And that always really upset me, because if your kid is talented, if your kid is this wonderful kid that you think they are, with all these gifts, share it with the people who don't have the privilege to go to the school. Don't dilute the pool. Like, we need you in the public schools. We need those talented kids there, right? Because it's the public schools that need the support. So that always upset me.
Well, and I think the other thing is that then when you find out something like, and like there is this, the follow-up to that argument is that if your kid is this bright and they work this hard and they do all the work, they're going to get to where they're supposed to go. And I mean, I think the thing that is infuriating about this scandal is that like those spots that went to Olivia and her forgettable sister could have gone to two really hardworking kids.
Right, exactly. And so like that's something that like I always have to say. I'll never forget riding up an elevator with a certain physician that I work with who was really proud of his kids because they were going to their interviews for a local private school. Where he's got 4 girls, where he's gonna shell out, $20-30 grand a year
for each kid,
girl.
Yeah.
And I made a comment about, supporting the public schools. And he said, well, did your daughter go to public school? And I said, yeah. And he's like, well, what school does she go to now?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, she goes to Brown.
Yeah.
But like my daughter had her own ambition and her own agency, and it had nothing to do with me having any designs on her. Right. I said, all I said is, I don't want you to go to pharmacy school. That is the only will that I ever imposed in her. And I was sharing with Alyssa when we went as a freshman to the there's an international baccalaureate program at Lincoln High School. And I specifically moved where I moved so she could go to Lincoln so that she could have any opportunity if she wanted it.
Yeah.
And I just basically told her, look, you have this opportunity here. If you want it, take it. This is all you need.
Yeah.
And so we went to the IB program and I'm like, oh shit, this is real rigorous. This is real hard. So I remember we're leaving and I'm like, that's real rigorous. Don't worry about it. Like you could do partial IB, you could do whatever. I'm like, don't even sweat it. And she did. She went in and she did full IB because that is who she is.
Right.
Now she had a multitude of friends who didn't have that same experience.
Right.
And I won't forget, I have one in particular who I remember his dad always lamented to me, oh, I wish so-and-so was more like your daughter. Oh, we're pushing him so hard. Oh, we're paying for this tutor, that tutor. And oh, he just doesn't want to do it.
But that internal drive, you can't, it's kind of like that internal ambition that we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
But the thing is, it's not like a black or white, like you're good or bad. It's just like, it's know who your kid is. Like what your kid is telling you is that they might not want to achieve in the way that you define achievement, that you define success. That does not mean they won't be successful.
Right.
So my daughter, who's about to graduate with an undergrad degree, she's applying
so awesome.
for a graduate school. I don't care. I know that whether she gets into graduate school or whether she doesn't, she's going to be fine.
Right. Well, the thing that's amazing about your ability to navigate your daughter's experience and your own experience is that I actually know that would be true for you, whether she was graduating, in the spring from Brown or from University of Oregon.
Right.
Right. Like you have always had that clarity of like, she's going to be fine. And I think it comes back to that kind of internalized ambition that she has, that's an internal value for her that she achieves in this way that's very consistent with like kind of the linear social script that is outlined. And that's fucking awesome because it just for now.
Is it? We don't know.
Right.
And so this is why I won't get on the horse of saying like this is the right way to do it. Like this is who your kid has to be.
Well, it's the right way to do it for her.
Yeah, because we don't know. Like it's her walking her path. There's going to be some hits. Sure. There's going to be some misses, and I don't know what the end result's going to be. I know she's going to be fine just because I know who she is and the person she is. And I just thought of something else because I just remember like always telling her, I don't care if you end up getting your degree in underwater basket weaving. I want you to be happy. I want you to be passionate about what you do. And whatever that is, if you choose something you're passionate about, I know you're going to be happy and I know you're going to be successful. Yeah. And so I think it's just about how we define success, and it's about setting our egos aside as parents. Our kids are not little extensions of us. Our kids are their own whole person with their own wants, their own desires, their own drives, and most importantly, their own path to walk. And if we can't pay $500,000 to get them into USC and think we're going to have any control over what that path is, other than they might get to go to like some really cool tailgate parties, because I do hear USC has some really cool tailgate parties.
Well, it's also one other thing. This is a sidebar to this is a digression from the substantive discussion that you just outlined for us around.
So should I step off of my soapbox?
No, I actually love that you were on. I love that you had all of that to say about it. I think it's so impactful. I think it's so meaningful, and mostly I love that it comes comes from your own experience. And I believe in the power of shared experience. So that is all so powerful to me. I will say the one last thing that I know about Aunt Becky's family is that Mr. Massimo, apparently his parents were paying for him to go to school. And instead of going to school, he took their money and started his fashion business. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why his kid was like, oh, well, like they all just have this very distorted. Anyway, I just thought that the irony is not lost on me that he was also involved in his own kind of undergraduate scandal. I also like that this kind of flipped our standard kind of show setup on its head. I mean, we kind of have done our personal development topic first.
Oh yeah,
and then we're gonna kind of head into some lighter, juicier stuff. So if we're ready to switch gears,
we might get back on a soapbox though, because we're going to talk about The Bachelor, right?
Well, it depends on how the show shapes up. It might fall off the end.
Okay. Because I've had that soapbox for years too.
Yeah, so we got. I mean,
holy
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, we got. If we can get to The Bachelor, we'll get to it, and if not, we'll go next week because it'll always be on, right? And The Bachelorette just got selected as well, so there's all the time in the world. So the next thing I want to shift to is that over the weekend, J-Lo got engaged this will be her 4th marriage. And she and A-Rod have been dating for a long time. There's a picture of them up here on YouTube if you're watching. This is from her Instagram. It's him on bended knee in some kind of tropical locale.
Okay, why is she acting surprised? This is not the fucking first time. This has happened to her.
She knows, right?
Look at her, put her hand over her mouth.
As if I actually have a problem with his sneakers. What the fuck is going on with his shoes in this video? Like, what is happening in this picture?
Player.
I can't handle this. So I looked at this picture. I thought, oh my God, this is the official engagement photo. And then I thought, who cares about this? This is what J-Lo really looks like. Let's switch to the next photo because this is why he's on bended knee to her. Look at this woman. She's beautiful. I can't even.
Is that why he's on bended knee to her?
Well, I mean, who knows why he's on bended knee to her. But
maybe she's just a great supportive partner.
It's very possible. She's done it 4 times. She knows what to expect. I'm actually on Team J-Lo. I like J-Lo a lot, frankly. So the thing that got me this story on my radar, though, is that Jose Conseco entered the picture of all people.
What?
Yeah. So here's what happened. Jose Conseco has apparently a crazy Twitter account, which we need to make a note to follow Jose Conseco's Twitter. Okay, so he sent out a series of tweets on Monday night saying that he was watching World of Dance, which is a variety show that J-Lo judges. It's actually, I love that show. Have you watched it all?
No, but I know I would love it.
It's really good. It's fucking awesome. Okay.
I know I would love it.
So she and Neo and Derek Ho.
I love Neo.
Oh my God. Neo is swaggy AF.
I love Neo.
I feel like he might be goals for coming on our show as well because he is seriously to die. He's vegan. Did you know that?
She got her own thing. That's why I love her.
Miss Independent. Yeah, he's fly. He's so good. And he's vegan. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, so he's even flyer now.
No,
okay,
yeah.
So the 3 of them are judges. Okay, so anyway, the show's airing on Monday night. Jose Conseco gets on his Twitter.
I wanna go to bed mad at you. Sorry.
He starts live tweeting about the fact, Jose Conseco starts live tweeting about the fact that he's watching World of Dance and he's watching J-Lo text A-Rod at the breaks and he sees the engagement ring on her finger and he says, isn't it? And he starts tweeting about how A-Rod is actually cheating on J-Lo with his ex-wife. And he sends out this series of tweets, the final of which said, don't believe me, bro. You're being such an a-hole. Why don't you call me? And put his full fucking phone number on Twitter. What kind of lunatic puts their phone number on Twitter? Who does this?
What's somebody with balls? I hate to be so heteronormative, but that's a grown-ass man who puts his phone number on Twitter because he has receipts.
He has receipts. That's right. Sandy wants the receipts.
When you have receipts, you will put your phone number on Twitter. You don't give a fuck.
So I'm just saying, do we need to put our phone numbers on Twitter to get some people to tweet us, to DM us some listener questions? Because that would be definitely a strategy.
We might be surprised what we get. He might have been surprised what he got. He might have been surprised.
I wish there was actually a follow-up tweet to see like if he could maybe break down for us like how many crank calls he got and like what genres they were in because I would like to know that. But I would legit almost be willing to get like another line up for a phone and like put up an all gold everything hotline and constantly DM our phone number out on Twitter. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, it was just crazy because Jose Conseco, he's like so out there. That's why we might need to follow him just so we have content for our show.
Yeah. So we can't move on from J-Lo without talking about yet another soapbox.
Yes. The fillers?
No,
Oh, I was gonna guess.
You know what?
I don't know if she has fillers. I have no idea.
She might have a little, but I'm sure she does, just because she is like a woman of a certain age, and
In Hollywood.
she looks a certain age.
Yeah.
Which is not her age, but she whatever. It's well done. She actually looks like J-Lo, right?
I
When
agree.
you see
She
J-Lo,
does, yeah.
you see J-Lo. And she looks gorgeous. I did see The Ring, and everybody's talking about The Ring.
Yeah.
And I just want to say,
I don't have any pictures
hate
of it.
that shit.
Why? Wait, you hate The Ring or you hate that everyone's talking about it?
I hate that everybody's so fucking worried about how big the diamond is.
It is large.
Yeah. Well, it's ridiculous.
It's like the size of her. It goes from
It's
her
stupid.
entire knuckle. It's really large.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
She probably has a micro hand. And
Oh yeah, she's probably very tiny.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, she can't hardly hold that shit up.
And she's like, "Oh, my finger, it's too
So,
weak."
I
need to do
happened-
finger exercises.
I happened to see a montage of her 5 engagement rings on Wendy Williams.
Oh, that's right, because she was engaged to Ben Affleck but never married him, right?
Yeah, so she had like the Harry Winston
Okay.
pink diamond.
Oh, yellow.
It was pink.
Pink,
from
okay.
Ben Affleck.
Yep.
And then a blue one from Mark Anthony.
Whoa,
and now
hey.
this one has to be like the biggest one. Like I think her biggest one was like 5 carat.
Oh
and
my
now this
God.
is like somewhere around 12.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I just, ladies, this is not what's important
Yeah.
when it comes to making a promise of your life to somebody.
That's
the
right.
size of the ring. Also, to have any expectations about the size of the ring is just like, call Aunt Becky. She's the only one that can relate. It's just not relatable.
What if we get a phone number and we say it's Aunt Becky's phone number and we tweet that ish out?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Okay, so I agree. I mean, the thing about the size is like, I just feel like you would constantly, like it would get snagged. It's just huge. It's too big. It's just too big. It just doesn't matter. And it's not indicative of the quality of your life.
No.
Yeah, so there's
No.
that. And other crazy news today, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter were all down. All the social media platforms were down today. There was a denial out from Facebook that it was a denial of service attack, which is what they call like cyber terror attacks or whatever. But it was crazy. I had so much time on my hands today and I was like, I don't know what to do with this time. And I thought about it because yesterday when we were doing our K2 appearance, we were talking about how social media is a place where we end up like obsessed with stuff. And I just realized today just how much time I spend on social media when none of my social media worked. And I was like, oh, Instagram doesn't work. Okay, I'll go to Facebook. Oh, Facebook doesn't work. Okay, I'll go back to Instagram. Oh, like it was just like I got wound up because all of it was down, which was crazy. Anyway,
Is it back up?
I have no idea. And that's the thing. It's kind of janky. Like I'm getting new things in my feed, but it's not allowing me to post anything. So I couldn't post any links that I wanted to. I couldn't post any photos. I couldn't. And like, especially having all the media stuff from yesterday's appearance, I really was like going to get down to it to text out our link and all that stuff. But I mean, I just couldn't, or to Facebook our link and all that stuff, but I couldn't get anything to post.
What if it is like the Obama administration just really wants us to stop tagging them?
I did think about this. Like, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if like my account got flagged for some kind of weird activity. Because I must have tagged Alyssa in like 3 or 4 posts in a row. You know, like I just was really surprised that I thought that might be it. So I was relieved to find on BuzzFeed that there was an article about service being down on those platforms in the UK, the US, Brazil, and Colombia or something. Like, so
So
anyway,
it wasn't just us?
wasn't just us.
Wasn't
just
all
us.
about us?
No. The next thing I want to talk about though is in kind of this millennial vein. I also read a story today about Lil Pump. Are you familiar with Lil Pump?
I've heard the name.
Okay, well here's Lil Pump. He's on the screen. First of all, this kid's adorable. If tatted up. One of the
Are
things,
those real? I don't believe they're real.
They are real, and I can't even believe this, but he has an alien over his right eye and a UFO over his left eye. His parents must be, he looks like he looks like he could have been a really clean cut, adorable kid.
Why does he work so hard on those edges and then tattoo his face?
I don't even know. So actually, Lil Pump is
This is
famous.
stupid.
He is. It is stupid.
This is stupid.
You could not be more correct. I'm just saying that. I just want you to know that
This picture looks so stupid. He's like a Backstreet Boy with face tattoos.
He is. That's exactly. And he's among a number of like Post Malone looks like this. Looks like they just look like little scribble cup. Like they just look like little somebody just scribbled all over them. Basically.
I know, but like he looks like a little Disney kid with like stickers on his forehead.
Yeah, but those are legit tattoos. And actually, his most recent one, it's not in this picture, is the Powerpuff Girls on his neck. because nothing says like neck tattoo like Powerpuff Girls. So, okay, so Lil Pump is famous for being a YouTube rapper, actually, and SoundCloud rapper. That's like where he made his. I mean, I kind of want to call him and ask him because we're on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like maybe he could share some tips or something.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I don't know after I just said how stupid that
Well,
photo
the good
is.
news is he's really into this thing. Now I can't remember what it's called, but it's codeine.
Tattoo removal?
No, it's codeine and...
Syzurp?
No, he's not calling it Syzurp, though. Oh my God, now I feel like I have to find the article about it. Hang on 2 seconds.
You can't throw out a drug name like that.
I know. I think he's calling it Lane or something. I think it's something really weird. He's calling it Lane, and it's codeine and soda water or something like that. Okay, so anyway, he's really into that. So he won't even know that we talked about him. He won't even remember it. So anyway, he is famous for being on SoundCloud, and then he created the song Gucci Gang. Gucci Gang. You know that song?
No.
Well, we can't play it for you because of licensing, but anyway, trust me, you do know it. If you think if you go to YouTube, you can listen to it. You definitely know it. So this article was out today about what his life is like. So this BuzzFeed reporter went to his Airbnb, met up with Lil Pump, and it turns out that all he does is wander.
It's lean.
Lean. Thank you. What did I call it?
Lean.
Oh, I did call it lean.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So he's into the lean. He does lean. He smokes weed. That's like all he does all day. So this reporter was like, this kid's life is actually so sad. All he does is wander around a giant mansion all day looking for weed. Looking for the weed that he stashed, can't find it, wakes up with lean. The interviewer said that he came downstairs, had a glass of lean in his hand, and then threw a steak and some macaroni and cheese in the microwave, and then took it out of the microwave. I mean, there's so many things wrong with this sentence already. Took it out of the microwave and then poured a bunch of codeine cough syrup on the steak before he ate it.
Lil Pump, you need to call Lil Wayne.
Yes, that's right. Oh my God, those Lils need to get together.
I bet Lil Wayne already knows.
Yeah.
I bet Lil Wayne saw this and he's already staging an intervention.
I think so. I hope so for Lil Pump's sake, because it does not seem sustainable is all I'm going to say.
No, and I wish I could remember, but Lil Wayne did such a great job talking about, it was when another face tattoo
It was
Mac
Mac Miller. When Mac Miller passed.
When Mac Miller passed. He did such a great job talking about his addiction to Syzurp. And lean is Syzurp.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I
another
thought.
name for
Another
it.
name for Syzurp.
Yeah, it's
What
just we
is
sound
lean?
old because like I know who Lil Wayne is and I know what Syzurp is and now I know what lean is, but I
On the
still
cutting edge,
think
on the cutting
you
edge.
look dumb. But yeah, it's addiction. Addiction's addiction
Yeah,
is
it is.
addiction.
Yeah, it
and
is.
so I'm not surprised that it looked so depressing.
Nasty. Yeah, it just
what
looked,
they may call depressing, we might call devastating.
Yeah.
But we know what kind of pain
and loneliness and isolation. Oof.
Yeah.
Sounded bad. Well, and anyway, the interesting thing is that another thing that
all serious tonight.
I know the other thing that was interesting. Well, it's serious stuff.
Can we talk
We've got
about Kim Kardashian?
I don't have anything except she
Okay.
was on a worst dress list this week, but I didn't get the picture, so it's not really. It was all leopard print.
Okay, I'm just trying to lighten things
I know.
up.
Well, another interesting thing about Lil Pump's experience is that his family refuses to do interviews, likely because of all the. And his brother is currently studying to become a brain surgeon. So, I mean, I don't know. That felt like there was something there between the admissions scandal and Lil Pump's brain surgeon brother.
There's an insert obvious joke, but they spent all the money on the brother. And
That's right. And then Lil Pump had to drop out of high school and become a YouTube SoundCloud rapper.
Or maybe you just can't Photoshop those tattoos off the face in the crew photos.
There you go. You got it.
You can't. You can't.
Yeah, and crew is real clean cut, so you're not allowed to have alien face tattoos.
That kid is clean cut AF. He looks like a Backstreet Boy.
Just
those edges were tight.
Agreed. It was wild. So anyway,
why am I so worked up over all this?
Well, I mean, it's just you're passionate. You're just passionate about it. It's okay.
I passionately hate young people. With a passion.
I'm dead. I'm dead. I love it. I want that to be the name of this episode. So last week, one of our friends was on the show, a friend of the show. She's our kind of friend in real life.
Another person who I'm obsessed with.
Yeah,
right
who
now.
like we would consider a BFF of ours.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's reciprocal. I think it is.
It doesn't matter.
It's over. She was already on the show.
Yeah.
Sarah D'Onofrio was on the show last week, and I don't know if you remember, but she was talking about needing a technologically advanced shower so she could catch up on her Instagram and stuff while she was in the shower all day.
I do.
Okay, so today I was like, scrolling for stories, trying to see what was out there, and I came across this amazing product, and it is a shower curtain that it's supposed to be a high-tech shower curtain. So this is a clear shower curtain with pockets.
See, now you know you're just trying to get me to go on one right now. You're just fucking with me at this point, aren't you?
I said, tell me what you think about this. So for our listeners who are just listening, not watching, this is a clear shower curtain with pockets that you put your devices in on the outside of the shower so you can see them on the inside of the shower, and you supposedly can swipe and interact with them while you're in the shower.
She's taking a selfie.
She is. She is definitely. She has a very sultry look.
Multiple selfies.
3 at once. Yeah, because she's got one camera that's horizontal, one that's upright, and she's got her iPad in there. And I'm just saying, and she does have quite a sultry look on her
3
face.
selfies, and she's watching Housewives, because that's what I would do with that.
I'm just saying, do we need to use some All Gold Pod slush fund money and maybe buy one of these for Sarah and send it to her, just to say, like, we want to make all your dreams come true? That might sound a little too sexy.
So can you touch it?
So the one review that I read of this said that sometimes the devices fall a little further away from the touchable side, the side that's on the shower, the side that's towards you. So the advice was just to stuff some towels behind them, and so that they get pressed up to the plastic so that you can swipe on.
But if the plastic's wet, though, you can still swipe it?
I guess. I don't know. I feel like we could make a prototype, but I do not think this is anything other than a shower curtain with some like extra pockets on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I saw that on BuzzFeed, because it's at the top. And then the other thing that I saw there
Shittens
is a product called Shittens, which is...
Now, this is what I'm talking about. I need a pack of Shittens.
Shittens is a mitten that you put over your hand that's made entirely out of baby wipes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so apparently these are the best things.
Take that shit camping with
you. Oh, yeah. These might be the best things since sliced bread. Yeah, so people use them.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have a washlet,
I
might be interested in that. But
you do. You have a bidet, and it's so amazing.
I do love to clean my ass with a wet wipe.
It's nice. It feels rich, frankly.
Yes,
it feels fucking rich. We have some time in the show,
so those are both really crappy products and a waste of production.
Yeah, the Shittens actually I think might be.
No, this is the shit that fills up those shipping containers.
Yeah, and landfills.
That fills up everything. This is like
you don't need a. Sandy is gonna lose her damn mind right now.
Have you ever been to a superstore?
Like Target or yeah,
or like just aisles and aisles and aisles of things,
of garbage,
all the things. And then I think about these ships and the containers, like you saw in the second season of The Wire. Mm-hmm. When they were shipping the ladies.
I didn't watch The Wire. No.
Yeah, and it's just so much shit
consumption.
So much consumption.
Yeah. Well, this doesn't even get consumed. It goes in landfill, right? And then just.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
More than the vision of containers coming full of stuff is the flip side for me, like the plastic patch in the ocean. Patches.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see jobs.
Shower
instead of seeing all I could see jobs. I could see all the employed people in China.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. It just made me laugh, and I had a feeling that it might send you over the deep end to review those products.
I'm totally losing my shit today.
Love you.
I'm here to lose my shit. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Last night, The Bachelor wrapped up, and we don't know much about The Bachelor, frankly. Here's what we do know.
We are the worst people to talk about The Bachelor, but that's not gonna stop us.
No way. Newsflash. There's 3 things I know about this show. Number 1, no one should be watching us and treating us as a reliable news source. Number 2, we play fast and loose with the facts. And number 3, it never stops us anyway.
Well, and number 4, it's The Bachelor. So don't act like you have standards.
Please, please, please. So here's what we do know about Colton the Bachelor. We know
he's a virgin.
Yes, I was just going to say that's the first thing everyone knows. Colton was a virgin. And number 2, apparently he got a haircut since the end of the show, and he had to. He looks much different now, but whatever. And number 3, he was going after a lady named Cassie. She removed herself from the competition, and then he fired basically the last 2 ladies left standing to go back for Cassie after she told him that she did not think she loved him in the way that he loved her. That's basically as the best that I can do to sum up this drama. All of this Bachelor stuff and the premise of The Bachelor alone had us thinking about 3 dating don'ts Bachelor edition. The all gold everything 3 dating don'ts Bachelor edition. Number 1, don't chase no man.
You don't ever chase no man, and you don't. Don't chase no man, and you don't compete with other women for a man.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
What the fuck is that?
It's so fucked up.
Who is this guy? Like, really?
Yeah.
Is he? I mean, I know they have a Bachelorette, and we flip the script, but don't compete with other men for this woman. Oh, do that. Do.
Well, here's
do
what I think
that.
about the Bachelor being a virgin is like a weird marketing ploy for me because
It's
like
so gross.
yeah, it is gross. It's like a deeply personal thing. Okay, but I'm gonna go even more like middle schooler on this and be like, why would you really want to like? I mean, is it really a plus to be a 30-something-year-old virgin? Like, are you? It's not gonna last very long.
No, the
Right?
fantasy suite is going to be.
It's going to be over before you even like
Which
really
is also
walk in the
another
door.
thing that is really sexist and fucked up because so there is the Bachelorette and I do understand that, but having not watched it, I do know that it is a little bit of a different experience. So we're gonna pretend that that's just not
Let's
even.
just set the Bachelorette aside.
Yeah,
just put it out of your brain.
We
for
can't
this
use
discussion.
that as an argument.
Not valid.
So there's a fantasy suite.
yes.
And
is there
on-
more than one?
It's every season. Like they go on a trip and they go in the fantasy suite, and essentially a guy like he'll fuck 3 different girls within
3 different nights.
In 3 different
Yeah.
nights,
Okay.
and that's like part of the competition.
Yeah.
So homegirl, whether she likes the guy or not, just because she wants to win the show, has to bring her A game. I mean, like
Yeah.
she's giving a blowjob. She's
Yeah.
got her best outfit on.
Yeah.
She's acting like she likes it. The
Yeah.
biggest, fakest orgasm you can get because he has to feel like he's the man.
Right.
Because she wants him to choose her.
Yeah.
It is so fucked up. Only to leave and then have another woman in that room the next
night doing the same shit. Yeah, I agree. That's fucked up.
Don't do it, girl. You
Don't.
do not have to do it. You don't have to do that to fall in love. You don't have to do that to get on TV. You don't have to do that to have a career.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
You don't. That's actually our second dating don't.
Oh, shit. Did
That's
I
okay.
jump ahead?
That's all right. I'm just going to reiterate.
Okay.
It's fine. So the second dating
I
don't.
thought that fell into chasing a man.
No, I made him too.
You don't
I
chase
made him
no
too.
man.
You don't chase no man. You pick.
You pick.
These guys are out there for you to select.
You pick.
Change your mindset. There is no like they're picking you. The mindset is now I select.
Yes.
I'm picking.
I'm picking.
I choose. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is Sandy's point. Don't fuck in the fantasy suite if he's been there with 2 other ladies 2 other times in 2 days. Just don't do it. Now, I don't know if that was an issue for this episode because Colton was still a virgin by the time he went back to Cassidy. So he said no to the other 2 ladies. But I mean, this is the 100 millionth episode of The Bachelor. So
Yeah, but I am actually like having not had watched The Bachelor and only heard about the shenanigans and immediately brushing it off. It's good to hear that maybe because this guy is a virgin, if he really is. I mean, do we believe he's a virgin?
I don't know. I hadn't even thought about that. It
so
does seem
if
like
you-
a strange way to market yourself.
But anyway, so if you're pretending to be a virgin, you're selling it well because like it sounds to me like what he's saying is he does really like this girl and he does want it to be special. So he doesn't want to go fuck 2 other girls in
Yeah.
the fantasy suite. And these poor girls probably had all their boobs pushed up really high and all their makeup on and their favorite thong. And they were just ready to like, just ready to give them their all.
to suck a dick for the 1 million followers.
Yeah. How embarrassing. Could you imagine if that was my child?
So your only 2 rules really were don't go to pharmacy school and don't suck a dick for 1 million followers
No,
on The
not
Bachelor.
in the fantasy suite on TV. And if you do, just change your name.
Change your name.
Put a tattoo on your face so we don't recognize you.
Go ahead with that UFO
Yeah.
tattoo motif.
I hope that I trained up my daughter with a little bit more self-love.
I know you did. So the third item is, I actually think the most important one, the most substantive, not the most important, but one of the most substantive ones is don't deflect. So
This is so good.
This took us a minute to get to the actual definition, but here's the thing. What happened was,
Because I'm not really good at not doing it.
I mean, it's a practice. It's a practice for everyone. So Cassie was saying a couple of episodes ago that I think she was trying to say that she wasn't feeling Colton. But instead of full on saying, I'm not really feeling you, or I'm not feeling this, maybe she was trying to say, I'm not feeling this competition. She said to him, like,
I'm going to project
Yeah.
that maybe she wasn't feeling this competition and trying to compete for a man and
Yeah.
chase a man and sleep with a man in a fantasy suite that could potentially be sleeping with 2 other women.
yeah, I think that might be it. So instead of saying that, which actually is pretty simple, pretty clear, and that it would resonate with a lot of people. A lot of people would understand that. She said something to him to the effect of, I just really want you to be with someone who loves you so much, like 1,000,000,000%, and like I'm just not sure it's me, So she was not really able to surface with him and say, "Hey, I'm not feeling this competition. I don't like chasing you. I don't like competing with all these ladies. I don't like how this is for me. And instead, she made it about him because she was unwilling to say how it was for her. So she deflected the conversation, redirected it in a different way. And so we think this is maybe the number one don't, actually, is, you deserve someone sorry, I started reading my notes in a weird way.
I'll tell you, you don't need to be dating nobody if you don't know yourself well enough that you can say what you want, because the first thing that you're going to be doing when you get into a relationship with anybody is practicing communication.
Yeah.
And so it's really what that looks like, is practicing to say what I'm feeling and what I need.
Yep.
So if you're in the pre-dating competition phases, maybe this is also new. It's like you don't date, you compete, and then you get to sleep with them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's throwing dating out the window. So if you're in the competition phase of your relationship and you're unable to say what you need, you should probably not be competing.
I love that, because actually the simplest way to be direct in our communication is to we're going to break it down. 1, identify the feeling that you're having, and then 2, identify the need. It's like actually that simple. Right?
It's not easy though.
It's not easy to do. It's a very simple formula, and it's easy to, it's like good to memorize, but it's challenging to do in the moment. And I mean, it's challenging
to do in the moment, and even it's just challenging to actually get in the practice. I think
I agree.
The most challenging thing is actually understanding what I'm feeling, because a lot of us, we just have a couple feelings. It's like mad.
Yeah.
Mad and sad. Yeah.
I agree.
So getting down to what's really going on it's hard sometimes.
Can be challenging. So anyway,
I'm pointing at my husband. He learned. He's really good at it though.
That's sweet. That's it. That's our 3 dating don'ts, Bachelor edition, all gold, everything. And that's it for the show as well. We are wrapping up from Portland, Oregon. We're sending lots of love, light, and gold to you. And don't forget,
stay vigilant.
Yeah.
What miracles of science and engineering it took to recover this gold.